Most people think they can recognize wealth instantly. They imagine expensive cars, luxury watches, designer clothing, huge houses behind tall gates. But here's the surprising truth: real wealth rarely looks like that. In fact, some of the wealthiest people you meet look completely ordinary. They don't dress to impress strangers. They don't show off success online. They don't talk about money constantly. And sometimes, they drive cars no one notices. Because real wealth isn't about appearance. It's about control. Control over your time. Control over your decisions. Control over your future. And today, we're going to reveal the hidden signs that someone is quietly wealthy, even if they never say a word about it. There's a reason wealthy people often look average. It's not luck. It's strategy. When people first start making money, they usually spend more. They upgrade their clothes, their phones, their cars, their homes. They want others to see their progress. And that's normal. But truly wealthy people move differently. Instead of showing success, they protect it. Instead of chasing attention, they build independence. Instead of impressing others, they invest in their future. Because they understand something powerful. Attention attracts expectations. Expectations attract pressure. And pressure destroys freedom. Real wealth avoids pressure. Looking rich is expensive. Being rich is strategic. Looking rich means buying things early. Being rich means investing first. Looking rich means upgrading lifestyle fast. Being rich means upgrading slowly. Looking rich buys applause. Being rich buys time. And time is the most valuable asset anyone can own. Because once someone owns their time, they control their life. They don't depend on approval. They don't depend on trends. They don't depend on other people's expectations. That's what real wealth actually looks like. One of the clearest signs someone is secretly wealthy is this: they don't compete. They don't compare houses. They don't compare cars. They don't compare clothes. Because comparison is expensive. Comparison forces spending. Comparison creates pressure. And pressure destroys smart decisions. Quietly wealthy people compete only with one person: their past self. They measure progress differently. Not by attention, but by freedom. Privacy is one of the strongest indicators of real wealth. People who constantly show success usually need validation. But people who protect their success usually understand risk. Because attention attracts questions. Questions attract expectations. Expectations attract problems. Quietly wealthy people don't hide success out of fear. They hide it out of wisdom. They know something most people learn too late. Privacy protects peace. Here's something most people misunderstand about wealth. Luxury is not the goal. Freedom is. Freedom to choose where you live. Freedom to choose when you work. Freedom to choose who you work with. Freedom to walk away from stress. Freedom to protect your time. Quietly wealthy people invest in freedom first. Everything else comes later. Sometimes much later. Watch how someone reacts when the economy becomes uncertain. Do they panic? Or do they stay patient? Financial security creates emotional stability. Because preparation creates confidence. Quietly wealthy people prepare early. They build savings. They build investments. They build options. So when uncertainty arrives, they don't react emotionally. They respond strategically. One of the biggest surprises about real wealth is how normal it looks. Simple routines. Simple habits. Simple schedules. Because simplicity protects focus. And focus builds wealth faster than attention ever can. Quietly wealthy people avoid unnecessary upgrades. Not because they can't afford them. Because they don't need them. Most people think short-term. Quietly wealthy people think long-term. They plan 5 years ahead. 10 years ahead. Sometimes 20 years ahead. Because they understand something powerful. Wealth compounds quietly. Patience multiplies results. Consistency beats speed, and long-term thinking changes everything. There's something interesting about real wealth. It rarely announces itself. People with money rarely post balances, rarely post profits, rarely post investments. Because real wealth doesn't need proof. It creates choices instead. And choices are louder than posts. The biggest sign someone is secretly wealthy is not what they show. It's what they don't show. They don't chase approval. They don't chase status. They don't chase attention. Because when someone controls their time, their stress, their environment, and their future, they already own something more valuable than luxury. They own freedom. And freedom is what real wealth looks like. Subscribe if you're building real wealth quietly.